Can an employee request for a salary increment during a recession period, or when a country is facing a recession? The answer is yes. An employee may do that. Nothing stops an employee from asking for a salary increment at any given time of the year, at any circumstance that a country is facing. However, such a request is not a right, but it is an interest, because it was never there at the time when the initial contract of employment was entered into. Only until such a time when the employer agrees to give the increment will it form part and parcel of the terms and condition of employment, and will it form part of a right for an employee to demand for it. But you cannot demand for it from an employer, because it's at the discretion of the employer whether to grant it or not to grant it. Depends on what the employer is able to. Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Biatha, BIANCA-LET'S talk. Today we are looking at how an employee can request for a salary increment during a recession period, or when a company is undergoing recession. What am I talking about with recession? Recession can be looked at where business owners or companies reduce in production and increase in cost. This normally happens due to high inflation rates. So the high inflation rates affect companies from producing more but increasing prices. Now, when this happens, you'd find some companies, or unfortunately they may lay off, others they completely go redundant, and as a result employees are affected. So even when you want to request for a raise, you should bear in mind what the consequences are there. Today's topic, I've put a bit of pointers because I don't want to miss some points, so every now and then I may check here on the points that I've indicated. Now, with the inflation rate affecting the production of certain goods or services, and as a result the cost of living going up, you would find also employees are affected. They would want a raise because now they can't meet up with this high standard of cost living that they are introduced to due to the change either in economy or whatever is affecting the change, and as a result it's just normal for them wanting an increment. But at the same time, obviously the company is also facing challenges, so it's something that both parties need to be very reasonable about on how to go about. Now the point also is, during this same period, or even when everything is normal, it does not mean the employer does not consider employees who are very good. A valuable employee is considered by a company even during crisis. So if you are a good employee, put on your jacket, go to your employer in a very reasonable manner, respectful manner, request for a salary increment. But how you do it, it's something that we are going to come about. It's not about the suit. It's not about if you are liked by your boss or anything else. It takes much more to that. So stick around until the end of the video, then you get the advice which you can use and be able to get salary increment, even if there is a lot of recession going on everywhere in the world. Everybody's facing this heat somewhere, somehow. Now, having said that, companies also do value employees who are very good. It brings me to my next point now, which has to do with, let's say in an instance where a company is laying off and you have remained, the axe has passed you, you've not been chopped to go. What you can do as a good employee, for instance, you can suggest to your boss or the owner of the company or managers, whoever are your supervisors, based on the people that have been retrenched, suggest to them, how do you go about with these redundant positions? How do we take over their work to avoid the company from undergoing much damage, which may lead into the whole company being liquidated and everybody losing a job. A good employee would go to the bosses, suggest ways of how to go about. Sometimes it's not always that your bosses may take it, but it just shows how much interest one has in a company. It just shows how much interest, how much love one has for his or her job. Some of these things, it's not about some of us, we say going to lick the boots for your boss in order for you to be considered or anything. No, it just shows how committed you are to your work, how committed you are to the company, because once you are an employee, your loyalty lies to your employer. So at the end of the day, you are expected to add value to the company. Maybe in the first place, that's why you are even left out, because you add value to the company. But however, there are criteria when it comes to retrenchment and so forth. But that is not what we are discussing about today. Today we are looking into how to ask for a raise under the circumstances. Now, if you are able to go to the company and request for a raise, and then the company gives you that platform, what would a reasonable employee be expected to give? One of the things I would say would be, you don't, like I indicated earlier on, you're not selling yourself how nice you are with the employer or how much your employer allows you. You are selling your skills. It is your skills. You negotiate on what you are bringing to the table in the company. How? Everybody is experienced. You're in a department of 50 people. Why should you get a raise? Or other companies are not giving raise to people same position as you are. Why should they give you a raise? So you compare the market rate of your position, of your job, with other companies. You look at what you can bring to the company or what you have brought so far to the company in comparison with the market rate. At that particular point, it's expected of an employer as well to know about the market rate, because obviously if you are underpaid in your position and the company is able to pay you, then you are a good employee and you get an over. That is also one thing that we are going to look at, in which you can go ahead and negotiate to your employers and say, look, I got a job offer somewhere else, so I'm leaving, and see if your employer value you more. But anyway, I'll get to that one later. So the point is, you are selling your skills. How do you sell your skills? Like we have already identified, you make a market price rate what is there for the job title that you have. From there, you negotiate with your employer on what you bring on your table, what skills you bring forth, what changes do you think you can make in a company. That way you are adding value here and there, the experience, the ideas that you're having in your head. If we are to do this and that, it may lead the company to grow. And with this kind of growth, you will be able to accommodate my salary for the next period of time, or not just me, any other people. We are going to make a profit and so forth. Remember that a salary raise, it brings about less money in the company, because now we are not just looking at it to say this month, we are looking at it annually. Annual basis, how much is the company going to spend on you? And because of that, you find most companies would go like, no, we cannot afford to give a salary increment, because they are projecting the future. And when they look into the future, there is no pool of fund that they can use to be able to accommodate the salary increment that they've given unto you. So how do you go about it to ensure that at least, even if a salary increment is to be given to you, there are other ways, or there are ways in which a company is going to benefit you being promoted. So one, you need to bear that in mind. What skills are you bringing on the table, the experience that you are bringing and so forth, and also the kind of knowledge that you have. And then also when you are negotiating for salary increment, you should also look at the financial position of a company. Is a company able to sustain you? You can now compare a smaller business entity with this multi-millionaire business entity that has been established 50 years ago and say, no, I want to be paid like those guys because we hold the same title. I think that would be quite unfair. Unless if this small company is really doing great at the same rate with this bigger company that is there. So you need to look at all those things, because you cannot make a comparison of such. It's like saying, okay, let's put a race, a 5-year-old with a 15-year-old or a 20-year-old to run. There's no way it's going to be fair. It's not going to be a fair process. So in that, you end up pushing the employer in not seeing you to be acting in the interest of the company, but in your own interest. And as a result, sometimes you find it affects the work relationship in a company, because the company now start concentrating on, oh, you want a salary increment, but the situation is like this and that. We are facing a lot of challenges in the company. You are just thinking about yourself. So that is just one of the things that one need to look at. And before I'm to get anything, if let's say the answer is a no, you don't necessarily close the door. You can also leave it open to the company, having heard what their position is, why they can't give you a salary increment. You can indicate, okay, based on that, maybe we can revisit this conversation later after 6 months. Or a good employee would say, let me try my proposal, if you allow me, on this, and we see how much we are going to make in a certain period of time, and then we revisit my initial proposal of a salary increment. So you don't just go with a thing of, I've been working for you for 12 years, give me a salary increment. No, give them what you've achieved. Show them how much you've improved, if it's a department or not. Show them what you are able to. Bring up the challenges that you are facing, which makes you not be able to produce or to give what the company, is expecting, but you're not able to give. So it's all those kind of things. It's quite a wider topic, which I'm thinking of breaking it down in a lot of categories so that we can have a range of discussion. And then going further also, the other things that we can look at when negotiating for salary is, if let's say, for instance, it's also not working, but maybe before I go, if it's not working, the other trick that one can use, but this is a bomb. So it can be like, let's say, since you're a good employee, or you are able to get a job somewhere, but you still love your new job, your boss is good and everything. You can use the other company that has offered you a job and say, look, I got a job offer somewhere and they're offering me this. What do you have to offer? But that only works if you're a good employee. If you're a terrible, lousy employee, no, please take the job. You can proceed. We wish you all the best. And then you go, you lose out everything. So you can also use that as one of the skills in order for you to get a salary increment, by saying, I got a job offer somewhere, and what do you think you can offer me? Either at par with this or a little bit more. It should be a little bit more for you to be motivated wanting to stay. Now, this brings me to my next point. Now, my next point is mainly on... it's not always that you have to get a salary increment. You can also get benefits. You can ask your employer to add value to your career. It's an added advantage as well. If, say, during recession, obviously productivity may go slow, though they increase the prices, not everybody is buying, or whatever the case may be. So how do you motivate your employer? You can say, okay, I see there's this particular position, can I be put there? Or if the position is not there, create it. Put yourself in the structure of the company. Let's create this position, then I run this, then you see, I think it will add value to the company. Even if there is no money added, the title is added. You are adding to your career. Think big. It's not always about financial aspects to say what. You can also ask the company, sponsor me on my education. It's an added advantage to your career. You can also say, sponsor me for a certain training. You go do a training, which training is going to add value to you. There are a lot of things that like business cost development, all those kind of stuff. When when you are to do that, in a company, you are already benefiting as much as financially you are not getting. The day you decide to leave the company and go somewhere, you'll be filled with skills, knowledge, you know, but yet the salary was this. There are people that I've met who would say, oh, the salary was so low, but it was a very good environment. They exposed me to this and this and this and this and that. And you find where such a person is going to work, they go big within a short period of time. Why? Because they got the experience somewhere else. They got the exposure they needed. They got the training. They got all those kind of stuff. So when you are thinking of salary increment, don't be I wanted to say shallow thinking, but don't think small. Go big. You know, some things may look, they're just temporal. Money, you can make it, but knowledge, it's not something that you can acquire easily, you know. And also the other thing that you can request on how to go about the increment, you can also say, okay, can I be given a once-off bonus? Or, you know, every employee gets a once-off bonus. All those things are just incentives that motivate employee to keep working hard as well. So if you see, okay, the door is closed on salary increment, or maybe, you know, they can't sponsor you to take you to go do further studies or do certain courses, you can request for once-off bonus and say, look, can I be given a once-off bonus this year? You know, we all have pressure, and honestly speaking, when we are all undergoing recession, everything drastically change. Our standard of living changes. So if your standard of living was here, and due to the change in economy with everything that is going on, you are expecting also to add further, so that to add value more money financially, so that you can keep up with that standard of living. But if there's no increment, then you remain there, or you need to cut off in order for you to be able to, you know, to live a reasonable life, at least, which is decent at the end of the day. So just in brief, this is what I wanted to discuss about. Those are the things, or how you can go about requesting for a salary increment during a recession. It's not easy. Try to understand companies if they are not able to give what you are requesting, but be open-minded when you are negotiating. Don't limit yourself to only 15%, 20% increment. No, look at it in a variety way, like the way we've discussed. Thank you so much, viewers. Subscribe, tell your friend, follow my YouTube channel, leave a comment. Let me hear more what you want me to discuss about with you, because this is our channel. And leave a comment. Like I said, hit the notification button so that whenever I post anything, you'll be one of the first few people to receive. It took a bit of time, but thank you so much, and I hope to see you or under the comments below, and hear more from you. Thank you so much. Bye.